Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Listen, I think there's been a very specific reason for these recent media releases. A lot of people I've noticed have kind of felt hopeless in hearing these different, articles and videos come out through WJHL. But I think it's really important to remember that there is a very deliberate, strategic, intentional plan in place, and it's there to get the perpetrators talking. Considering the fact that Candace is separated from Dawn right now, and they're trying to build a case. Keep in mind with Detective Pruitt and the article and video they did on him, he never said the parents are innocent. And also, he doesn't believe the abduction happened. He believes Summer Wells is still very close to the home. Reading between those lines, what I think that means is they are looking at the parents and very close proximity neighbors. In fact, it could be, it could be both. It could be, this could have been a coordinated, orchestrated disappearance that took place. From the things I've heard out of, Donna's reading and stuff, that's the impression I get as well. Let's explore real quick what law enforcement will do to provoke a response. The feds may also be using the tactic of tickling the wire, meaning that the feds have wiretaps in place and are placing stories in the media and then waiting for revealing phone conversations. It was like 5 weeks ago, Ronnie Lawson came out and said that the parents aren't cooperating and that they had obtained lawyers. Remember what that did. The media that evening was at Candace and Don's home. Grandma did her very first interview. Remember that?
It was the first time that we have spoken with her on camera since her granddaughter went missing.
Mr. Lawson stated that Candace and the whole family is lawyered up. I can't speak for Donnie, and I know Candace hasn't because she's told me she hasn't, and I have not. If law enforcement wants to talk to me, TBI wants to talk to me, they have my phone number.
And Candace would still not go on record with the news. Instead, wrote a response on like a piece of paper and then had the journalist read it aloud.
Mother Candace Bly did not want to go on camera. However, she did write this statement for us on my notepad.
But then she wouldn't make like a public plea for her own daughter. Now, don't think for a second that the law enforcement hasn't taken that into huge consideration. If anything, what I think's going on is in the same way we saw Orrin and Orson, the adoptive parents, just out of nowhere get arrested. That's what I think is going to happen here. It will be out of nowhere. Okay, I really hope my lighting isn't too bad here. I had to basically wait another day and film this. So for continuity purposes, I put on the same outfit and everything. I want to talk to you about Ziggy's CPS information that she leaked way back, I think in September. I went back and I listened to that all over again. I actually listened to 2 of her videos today. I was blown away. Even though I had heard it before, it validates everything we've heard since. Ziggy's source was 100%. They clearly were in the know and gave honest and exact information. Let me just do a quick rundown of things that really piqued my interest.
In the last year, there has been a total of 7 abuse claims. So all of these people were saying that weren't there people that called in CPS and, made them aware? There were. And I think that according to her, 7 times in the last year.
Don was found to have crack and meth in his system.
They both tested positive for crack cocaine, marijuana, and Don came back with meth.
They did not pass the lie detector. It was actually an inconclusive result because of taking excess amounts of benzodiazepines.
Lie detector test, they both did not pass. their, I say pass, because they also didn't really fail, but they were non-conclusive on the guilty knowledge test. On the guilty knowledge test, it came back as non-conclusive. Well, guilty knowledge test means they basically know what happened to Summer. It's not conclusive, and that was because they were using some kind of medication or sedative to trick the investigator administering the test.
And I'll make sure and I'll post these 2 videos I watched because I think you should go back and listen to them. They were very, very interesting. The parents are being monitored and that there's actually a plant. So I don't know who that is.
They're not going to be able to hide or go anywhere. They're under surveillance. Know that there's law enforcement is already, putting people in their path or that are actually working for law enforcement. We'll just leave it at that. But that is happening, and they are reporting to law enforcement. There's actually people in their physical, in person that are in close contact with the family that's been put there to give law enforcement information.
The abuse to the kids was so extreme. I mean, they were getting whooped with belts and all sorts of stuff.
Like, all 3 boys were physically abused by Dawn and Candace. They were kicked, punched, their hair was pulled, they were beaten with objects such as belts, shoes, and other items. That gives me chills, guys. That makes me really uncomfortable. I haven't read through this since when she first told me. She didn't elaborate how CPS knows this. I do know the boys are, well, maybe I can mention that when I get to the part where she mentions it, but I have a feeling the boys are talking.
I know Ziggy got a lot of hell at the time because the kids are underage. It's a very sensitive area. So much of it has come out recently. And so I feel like it's important to hear this. And so for the sympathizers who still exist, I'm sure there's some, this is more so for you to know that the abuse was so horrible for these kids. Dawn and Candace couldn't have cared less about them. They weren't eating the 3 square meals a day, 3 at least meals a day. They weren't taken to the doctor or dentist regularly, not cared for. They were left at home for extended periods of time, all the time. Candace was for sure having a relationship with underage Hunter.
Actually, Candace was sexually involved with Hunter even while the kids were around. The kids weren't involved sexually with the whole thing, but the boys witnessed it.
There has been so much discussed lately that has 100% validated everything Ziggy ever said that her source told her. By the way, her source was somebody interwoven into 2 systems. I'll put it like that. And one of those is CPS. So she absolutely knew her stuff. I don't doubt at all that she still knows what's going on with that case. Based on everything I heard from the CPS leak, there is absolutely no way those parents are not going to go down for something. There will be charges.
According to the source, this is so much worse than people realize. As far as like the CPS, they will not be getting the boys back ever, 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 ever. It is not part of the parent reunification is not on the parent's service plan. Okay, so whatever was done or happened, I don't know specifics. That was not given to me. But whatever happened with the boys, they will never get the boys back. There's no option of that. And if Summer, I was also told if Summer is found, she won't be going back to them either. The boys were removed due to something called the parental child safety placement, which means that you are not trustworthy to have minors around you. It is one of the worst levels of the removal process.
Between the level of abuse and then now you have a missing child in the mix, It's still unclear, you know, how did it all happen with CPS? Was Candace trying to safeguard her boys from getting taken away by doing something with Summer? Oddly enough, in Ziggy's release that she did, she never mentioned Summer, which made me wonder if maybe Summer was never interviewed by CPS in the first place. And that would then validate, I mean, I don't know this for fact, but if so, that would validate what Donna said. And that was, if CPS knows what's been happening to Summer, they will take the boys. Because there's no mention of little Summer, at least not that I know of. I'll have to ask Ziggy about that. But I was kind of curious to know, well, why is there no mention of her? It was very weird. There is one final thought I have, and it's another, very sensitive area. It came out in one of Benny's lives that he's done recently. Grandma was not allowed to talk to or FaceTime those boys at all. And I would really question what might have happened at the hands of Grandma to make that be. Why is she not allowed to have contact with the boys? Was there a domestic violence or an SA situation? We know that Candace's side comes from a long line of questionable things. For whatever reason, that's just really on my mind now. Let me know what you guys think. There's been some very, very, very interesting lives that Benny has been having, ever since he turned on the wells. There were 3. So it was Benny as well as 2 other people had visited Don and Candace back when Molly Golightly was there in December. He had 2 of these people on his panel, and they gave some very interesting stories about their time and experience up on that hill. First of all, the cockroach problem. They explained that you wouldn't even put your purse or backpack down in the home because there were so many cockroaches. One of the gals that he had on there who was giving her, her account of what happened, she told a story about Candace Jr. It's so weird to call her Junior, but anyway, Candace had received a card in the mail that had $100 bill in it. She opened up the card, grabbed the $100 bill. And by the way, that was from a nice, subscriber lady who had just sent her money just to be kind.
Mama Jan had sent a card with a $100 bill in it to Candace. And Candace was on the phone with Mama Jan when the mail came. And she was given the envelope. She opened it. The envelope was from Mama Jan. She was on the phone with Mama Jan. She opened the card, got the $100, and handed the $100 bill straight to her mom and told her she needed pills. And that was basically the last time Mama Jan was around. That happened, and then she kind of tapered off and went away. So I knew there was an issue with the pills.
I think there's a really bad addiction there, especially if she took that money and scored from her mother. Everything about their personal lives is chaos. And it is no surprise why, their children were taken from them.
I got to the parking lot where Grandma's sitting in her truck. She's got her foot up on her door, holding the door open, and she's just a fuming. She said, "You know where Candace is going?" I said, "No." She said something about Texas. "She ain't going to fucking Texas," she said. I said, "I don't know." That's what she said. I said, "I'd feel better knowing that you have a plan before I leave and go all the way back to North Carolina." "Well, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do," she said. "So I'm going to have to go see if I can get the PIs to come and get my trailer, help me get it out of there." I said, "But where are you going to go? Can you go up to your sister's early?" I don't know. So she calls and talks to Miss Kathy, okay, Candace's friend. She tells Miss Kathy, she said, "Have you heard from Candace?" She said, "No, why? Should I have?" She said, "No, I don't think so. But if you do, don't let her know I asked you, but find out where she is and where she's going." So here we go. More lies between each other, okay?
Yeah.
Kind of like how Candace would hide bottles from Don and tell him that she hadn't been drinking in days.
And he would do the same to her. He'd keep a bottle in his truck. Yeah.
Yep. Or Grandma will go buy her a bottle and keep it in her camper. When she runs out, Grandma's got whiskey, little jars of whiskey hidden in her camper for Candace. So finally, she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure something out. You got to get headed home. And I said, this, none of this seems right. I said, it feels to me like she doesn't want to get those boys back. And I told her what she said. She goes, she doesn't want those boys back.
Yep.
And I said, well, what about Summer? I said, she's not making an effort there either. She said she don't want her back either.
Candace likely has a big secret that she's holding on to. She better turn on him before he turns on her. Anyway, it's so good to be here, be back, making regular videos. Talk to you later. Bye.